And up next, our friend Jason Castro returns to the mic.
Hey, I'm back.
Yes. So nowadays, after a crazy couple of years and all this music stuff taking off, are you living in LA or are you back to Dallas area?
Well, I recently just moved back to Dallas. I lived in LA for a good year, and I guess I moved back about 3 or 4 months ago.
Okay.
But I've been on the road since, so.
Right. Do you get to go home very much?
It's kind of averaging about like 2 weekends a month. But now we're on the road for a solid, like 2 months.
With the EP out now and the album coming.
So I don't want to go home.
Right. Got to get out and play for the fans. Well, and I do want to talk a little bit about the American Idol experience.
Yeah.
Because this,
it's crazy.
It's just, I mean, just crazy. Well, first off, too, as a contestant on the show, you were actually the first contestant to ever play an instrument.
He is, very true. And it's actually kind of the reason I tried out. I had kind of heard that, hey, they might be letting you play instruments. And I had actually only just started singing about a year before that and playing guitar. And for me, they kind of went together. I played guitar and tried to sing. That's what I did. And so, I didn't know how I could sing without playing. And so, it worked out. It really worked out for me, I think.
Did you have to get, kind of special permission from the producers, or had they decided that before, that they were going to take...
I think they had decided that. I think they were toying with the idea, so...
Okay.
It was they weren't sure yet, and I was kind of crossing my fingers, and it worked out.
And it worked out.
Yeah.
And you made it in. Now, tell us a little bit about the experience being on the show, and a recap for those maybe who didn't follow, like how many weeks were you on, and how does that all work?
Well, it's hard to remember. It was kind of like a blur, even though it lasted for months. I mean, from the initial audition to the end of the tour, it was like a year, if not more. And, it's just a series of auditions, tryouts over a series of months. And then once it goes live on TV, which is kind of how American Idol works, then you're just kind of living in LA, all expenses paid, being on a TV show every week's kind of a blast. And so that was pretty cool. And I, lasted there till top 4. And then I fumbled some words on a Bob Dylan song and went home.
Now, what about the critics? Because, I mean, certainly American Idol's like the most popular television show there is, the end. Yeah. But then there's this, there's this faction, and even around here at the corner, we're kind of like, you know what I mean? Like, so how do you... Because I think of you as a real artist, not a lip syncer, not a, you're playing guitar. You brought the guitar on the show. Yeah. So, is there anything you say to any of the critics or anything?
Well, I haven't ran into too many critics, but I do. Even from the first day, when I thought about trying out, I was really hesitant because of that fact. I grew up, playing drums and playing in local bands, and that's what you did. Music was life, and I actually, when I first went to audition, you have to wear a wristband to try out for the whole weekend, and I had that thing hidden under some bracelets so my friends wouldn't see. And I actually didn't tell anybody until I was on the show, and, at the end of the day, for me, it was just trying to take a jump out, to get out of town, to have a new experience, and I loved music, and I kind of liked, the challenge of the show. It's taking songs that are in different genres from different times and trying to do it in your own way. And, in that sense, it is a very artistic thing. I think historically there hadn't been a lot of maybe artistic people. A lot of people do just cover songs. But, for me it was an exciting challenge.
Yeah.
And I like to think that I went through and I just kind of did what I do. And it's kind of what I did before and what I do now. And so I'm writing songs. I'd say come out to the show, check out the CD.
So it's definitely turned out to be a great thing for you.
Definitely. It's changed my world. Sometimes... a new season just started, and watching it's crazy to think of how different things would be if I had tried out or if I hadn't made it that far. And a lot of the music business has always been about being at the right place at the right time. And I think I don't know, the TV show got me noticed. Yeah.
Well, we have a kind of a connection in this area too. Chris Daughtry went to high school around here, out in Fluvanna, Fluvanna County, next town over. Yeah, and then he went to high school here, moved to North Carolina, and then went on the show. But he used to do like the coffee shop scene in Charlottesville too. So kind of interesting. And then I also wanted to touch on what they call the Castro effect. The Castro effect on American Idol, because you made the song Hallelujah famous on the show and brought back the Jeff Buckley version. I mean, because you did it on the show, Jeff Buckley's version got all sorts of great attention.
Yeah, that was
started
really
selling
cool.
again. Yeah.
I mean, I didn't know what to expect. That was actually the first song I sang on the show that I actually knew ahead of time. All the other songs I was trying to learn and faking it like I knew it. And that was the only song. It was really, one of the songs that inspired me to start writing songs. And I remember sitting in my room trying to play that, and I could never play it. And now I can, obviously. So that's why it's kind of a fond memory I have of trying to learn how to play and sing. And so I just sang it because it's a song I love, and I didn't know what was going to happen. I don't know if I get torn apart or what,
but it turned out very, very favorable. And then I saw a figure that your version, is this right? Your version sold 178,000 downloads, digital downloads.
It's true, overnight. And,
overnight.
And they had to take off the the stuff on iTunes because they didn't want a fairness issue they didn't want to see. So that was crazy, to see that. Whoa.
And it's still not up there now, right? It's unavailable at this time.
It's unavailable, and that was only a live version, but we recorded a studio version for the album, and I'm very excited. Yeah, it's beautiful, and the song is just amazing. It was really an honor to be able to introduce people to that song that hadn't heard it before. That's
the great thing about American Idol, when a song like that, or your version of Israel, Kameka Wawuli. Yes. So, and I'm just curious from our audience of winners here, how many of you downloaded his version? Do you guys have that on your computers? Yeah. Okay. So we've got some fans here, and we are with Jason Castro in the Corner Lounge, and let's do another live song.
All right.